Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are experiencing some much cooler temperatures. We finally got some rain, so I am taking advantage of the cooler temperatures and I am going to be here in the berm. We have got some perennials that need some attention. You were with us just a few days ago when we did a tour of our privacy berm that kind of separates the house from the nursery. We talked about the messes and successes. There are tons of successes, but there are a few things that are looking a little rough that need our attention. And so the weather has cooperated, so we are going to do that. I figure if I have to do it in my garden, then odds are you might need to do it in your garden. And I thought this would be a great time to bring you along so that you can see how I do it. Maybe apply that kind of same thought to your garden as well. Just FYI, we're using a new camera, so hopefully this is working well. You never know with technology, and when you're filming by yourself, you just go with the flow. So hopefully we're gonna give you a gorgeous shot today. But here we are, of course, like I said, in the berm, and what I am mostly going to be paying attention to today are going to be my Shasta daisies. Here we have the spun silk. Gorgeous, right? Beautiful, really kind of a fun frilly flower. Let's see if we can zoom in here on a flower that looks really good, what it should look like, right? So it has that really fine texture of a bloom. Now, you can clearly see what the problem is, right? So, gosh, this was several weeks ago, right when they were budding out. We got some wind and they just split open. So I need to come in here and take care of them because they are affecting the plants around them. They're going into the weigelas, they're going into my echinaceas. So we're going to trim those back. Also, we talked about in the tour how the daisy mays were stunning and gorgeous, and they're very, very happy. However, we need to take care of them because they are very, very happy and they are crowding out my little lime punches. Again, I'm going to show you how we're going to come in here, prune these babies back, because clearly they are finished with their blooms, right? Your daisy mays, classic white daisy, Shasta daisy, they're done blooming. It is the perfect time to trim them back so that my little lime punches that you can see back there will just absolutely pop out and explode. If there's time, if the weather permits, then I will maybe go ahead and deadhead my pugster pinker butterfly bushes. Of course, your pugsters bloom, as all buddleias do, bloom on new growth. So I may come in here, do a little deadheading, clean up the plant, more of the Shasta daisies, right, because it's a balanced area. And then I really do want to come in here with my Amsonia. This is the string theory, and we are going to prune it back so that it can thicken up and be really, really pretty for the fall season in all of its gorgeous, bright yellow golden color. Because we did get that rain last night, let's see, got it. Last night and the past couple of days, we've gotten some good rain. It has kind of laid out, like the Amsonia has gotten heavy with the rain and it has kind of gotten really floppy. This is why we prune it so that it'll thicken up and be nice and tight and full. So while I still have shade, I'm just going to get to work. We're going to go ahead and start. We're going to start at the top of the berm. We're going to start with the spun silk, move our way down to the daisy mays, and then the Amsonia. All right, my friends. So spun silk right here. It is not going to be hard, y'all. This is going to be the easiest pruning job we ever did. We are literally going to cut it back all the way down to the ground. I know it may seem excessive, but trust me, it is going to help the plant so much more. We actually have some green growth that is starting to happen down at the very, very base of the plant. We're going to cut all of this back. That way we get some nice, tight, thick foliage back on it, and it will be beautiful. Will it bloom again? Probably not. I'm not going for that. I'm just going to clean up the plant, help the root system survive, because right now the root system is trying to keep all of this alive, and I don't want that to happen. I want it to put more energy in the roots so that it can get nice, strong, and then next year it'll come back glorious. So I'm literally going to be using my Felco 2s. I went ahead and cleaned them, sharpened them before we got started because it has been a little while that I have cleaned them, and They desperately needed it. Using that cleaning spray, and then I like the 905 tool because it sharpens it really easily. The angle is already set. I don't have to think about it. And then I came back with the lubricating waterproof oil spray on it. And so, man, they are good to go, and they should be nice and sharp, and I can take quick work of this job. Easy peasy on the Shasta daisies, just cut them to the ground. There you go, end of story. They're gonna start flushing out immediately. They've already got some nice little growth on the base of the plant, so we will be gonna be good to go. Now, I cannot walk away from this area and not trim back this silver lining artemisia. Silver lining artemisia, new one from our friends at Pruning Winners, Walter's Gardens. All I'm gonna do is shape this up a little bit because we had such excessive heat. I mean, we were just having record-breaking temperatures. It was hot, it was humid, and there was no rain. So the plants were under some stress, and they're starting to look a little rough. They got a little thin, and so I need to kind of clean them up. Again, I see new growth coming from the base of the plant. By pruning it back, I'm not going to be severe on this. I'm just going to simply shape it up. That way you're encouraging new growth. This will get nice new growth, thick up. It will thicken up and give us beautiful silver foliage for the rest of the season. Again, just going to come around and give it a nice little haircut, not nearly as severe as the spun silk. So you can do as much pruning as you need or as little pruning as you need, but these plants will respond really well to that. My friends, I think you can see that I did not butcher, I didn't whack them back as I say, but I did tidy the plant up. I cleaned it up, still have that nice beautiful mound that is going to encourage more new growth, more flush of growth, nice tight habit on it, and I kind of kept it out of going into the other surrounding plants. I get asked a lot of times, how do we keep weeds out of our garden? I wish there was a magic answer. There's not. It's the two things on the end of your arms, your hands. When you find little tiny weeds, grab them, pull them. As you're walking through the garden, just pull those little tiny little weeds. It will make a huge difference. Weeding is one of those things that if you stay on top of it and you do a little bit all the time, it typically does not get away from you. Now, however, before I started this video, there were, sometimes they're very, they can disguise themselves really, really well. And I looked over at one of the hydrangeas and I was like, oh my word, there was this massive weed growing in the center of it and it was taller than the hydrangea. Clearly it had been there for a long time, but just when we were scanning, we just missed it. So I went over there and thankfully because of the rain, it just pulled right out. So if you can stay on top of the weeding, I know it is hard, and y'all, sometimes life happens and flower beds get away from us. And you know what? It happens to all of us. But from experience, if you can do a little bit every day, it makes a big difference. Much easier to get them when they are teeny tiny as opposed to ginormous, and their root systems are crazy. All right, so we've got silver lining done, we've got spun silk. Now we're gonna go to the daisy maze, and basically it's gonna be about the same, but I'm gonna do a quick little overview and then knock those out. And I got a bunch of them, so I got a lot of cutting to do. All right, my friends, so the sun has come out, and she's not gonna be our friend as far as filming, so we're gonna go with it and do it the best way that we can. The daisy maze are loving life here. I never imagined that they would get as massive as they did, but it's a blessing and a curse in the fact that they love where they are and have gotten huge, and we're covered in flowers. So that's the blessing. The curse is they're crowding out everything else. In the fall, we will dig them up and we're gonna move them to the other side of the berm. So we've got this last season to deal with them. I am just gonna go, after looking at them, I'm gonna give them a good haircut very much close to the ground. I may leave about 6 inches out off of the stalks from the ground, but I am really, this is where people say you're gonna go whack them. I am going to whack them. I am whacking them back. I am cutting them back all the way basically down to the ground. Again, they will flush back out with new growth, but it'll be a nice tight mound. That way, my little lime punches, my barberries, my pugster butterfly bushes can all shine and be beautiful. The daisy maze had their time, right? So they had their time in the spotlight and they were beautiful. Now it's time to let the other stars in the flower bed shine, and so that's what we're gonna do. I wanted to stop and give you a little bit of an update on how all the pruning is going. I'm having the best time. It is cooler today. It's still sticky and Jenny is still glistening, but there is a breeze. So I am just having the best time out here. And Brenna, Brenna is, of course, is my faithful companion. Couple of things that I did, maybe I didn't show it to you on the video. I did go ahead and start to deadhead the Pugster Pinker butterfly bushes. So we have a nice mass planting right here of those Pugster Pinkers. And I went ahead and did everybody minus this one. So that way you could see the difference between one that's been deadheaded and one that has not been. So you can see that your older blooms, of course, are not as attractive, right? They are brown. They're like those brown spherical kind of cones that are coming off of it. Then you come back to the one that's directly behind it, and it's just a neater, cleaner, tidier looking plant. Now, I normally do not come through and deadhead these pugsters. It's just simply a matter of time that I don't really have, but it certainly makes the plant look so much neater. All you're gonna do is just come in here, and so for example, trying to do this with one hand, where you've got these three that are dead blooms, right? And Brenna thinks there's a bunny in there. Bless her, every time a plant moves, she thinks there's a bunny. So you're just gonna come in and you're just going to cut right here. So right here, you're just gonna come in and you're just gonna cut, right? You do not have to be super precise, y'all, because pugsters will, and all buddleias are blooming on new growth. So that means that you can go in there and you can prune them anytime you want. If you want to deadhead every day, you can go in and deadhead every day. If you're in a season of life and you're like, Jenny, I can't deadhead my butterfly bushes, then don't deadhead your butterfly bushes. It is okay. And all the things that I am doing today are simply because I have the time right now. The weather was cooperating, and it just feels good to get it done. If life were bananas and crazy and I couldn't do it, or the weather just was not cooperating, it's fine. There is grace in gardening. So let's talk about the Shasta daisies right quick, because probably some of you, I just gave you absolute heart attacks with what I did. Coming in here, and Brenda's probably going to try to be a star here, we have a mound of those Shasta daisies. So right here you can see how much I pruned them. When you go in and you look really close down there at the bottom, you can see that there is new growth popping out, right? There is new little tiny green leaves coming out. All of this is going to flush out and be a nice tight mound. But you can see how much it took away the room and the growth for my little lime punches, because there is literally a hole right there where those daisy maize were. Now, the one on the very front end, it maybe it was getting more sun, I don't know, but it has a tighter, bushier habit, so it's not as severe as a pruning. So I just cut it back a little bit. You still see that nice growth on it, and then there you go. All is well. Now, what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and focus on the Amsonia. Again, this is string theory. String theory is a great Amsonia, true blue flowers early in the spring. It loves this spot as well. So we're going to come in here and give it a nice prune, a nice haircut. Again, I may just absolutely blow some of your minds with what I am doing. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, we pruned the Baptisia and the Amsonia at the house. Nice tight habit. So all it does is it thickens the plant up so it's not so floppy. It is going to make a world of a difference here in this space. I do have some Baptisia on the back row. If the weather still cooperates and Jenny's energy level is still there, I will go ahead and prune those back as well. Truly, gather it up like a ponytail and chop it. You do not have to be precise. Do not worry about going above 2 leaf nodes and pruning. No, y'all ain't got time for that. Just pick it up, chop it, and really I'm gonna cut it probably about like halfway back. If you wanna do more, you can do more. If you wanna do less, do less. The plant is fine. It will be okay. It will thicken up and it will all be good, and it will give everybody else some room to breathe. So that's what we're gonna do next. My friends, today's project is complete, and I feel very accomplished being here in the berm, getting perennials cut back. It feels good just to get in the garden and just garden. So let me show you what I did with the Amsonia and the Baptisia. Went ahead and got those guys pruned back. Now, I can already hear some of y'all saying, well, you pruned those back more than half. Yeah, I did. I just got in there, y'all, and I just started whacking. And yeah, I cut them back by more than half. They have those nice little mounds right now. They're going to thicken up. They're going to continue to grow, but they're not going to get as tall as they were. So we have quite a few in there, a ribbon of them. Again, I had no idea that they were going to get this big this fast. This is their second spring. Like I planted them kind of this time last year. And then of course I love the Niagara Falls grass behind them. So those 3 taller perennial grass, that is Niagara Falls. It is a beautiful, very columnar, what we call like a blue grass, because it has that blue-green tinge to it, right? You can see that it is starting to form some of its little plumes, so it will just continue to grow, get taller, roughly in that 4-foot range with those beautiful plumes. And obviously it's going to be full sun. Your perennial grasses typically do love the full sun, but here next to the Holy Grail, and then, oh my gosh, y'all, the Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush behind them, glorious. Now, can't really see right now, but behind the Niagara Falls is the Baptisia. I want to say this is like periwinkle popsicle or something like that. So we have them here in the back, right along the fence, behind the grasses. And you may say, well, why in the world did you put them there? You can't see them. Well, the grasses do not start coming up until later on in the season. Once it gets really warm, Baptisia is an early spring bloomer. So I am just transitioning, right? So I have my beautiful blooms from the Baptisia in the early spring while the grass is still quite small, maybe not even showing a whole lot of growth. And then once the Baptisia is done, then my grasses take center stage. Again, just gather them up and cut them back. Not precise at all. They will thicken up just like the Amsonia, but the whole bed is just looking great. I did some things here and there. You know, you're always piddling, you're always looking for weeds, you're always pruning back. Let me show you this. So the Daisy Mays were, of course, you know, they were right here. And then let me show you what this poor orange pillar. So there was a Daisy May all up on that orange pillar, right? So you can see there at the base, that's where it was. Look how much green is showing in this orange pillar. You know why? That is because the sun could not get to it because the Daisy May was there. Now that it is in the sun, it will go ahead and turn the orange like you see on the, the other side of the barberry. So we kind of have a little bit of a two-tone action going on here with the same plant. But one thing I forgot to tell you, when we are pruning your Amsonia, when you cut Amsonia, it will emit this like a white milky sap. These have already started, they've already kind of sealed themselves off, but it can cause irritation on your skin. So definitely wear your gloves. I've got some on my leg. It's just sticky, so I definitely will need to clean my Felcos again, because that sticky residue sap will kind of gunk up your Felcos. So that's why it's great to use that cleaning spray on there. It removes all that sap. But if you do have sensitive skin, just make sure you have on gloves and maybe long pants, or just have somebody else prune them for you. But I don't have a problem with it, other than it's really, when it dries on your skin, it's sticky. So that was that. And then also, I forgot to tell you, I did go ahead and deadhead the daylilies. Now, you do not have to do this, and the only reason I'm doing this is because this is a display garden and I want to clean it up. Now, let's talk about what do you cut off and what do you leave. Well, these are definitely on the end of their bloom cycle, and so I didn't want to cut off any of my blooms, right? So you leave your blooms. Then next door, you will see that this is a bud, right? So these are buds. In the next couple of days, these are going to open up. I don't want to cut those off. I'm going to leave those. What I did cut off are the stems that are not going to bloom again. So for example, like you can see a bunch of them right here. There is no more buds on this stem, right? So nothing else is going to bloom on this. If you see some, well, I just pulled it off. If you see some that look like this is like the seed pod from the older, this is not bud, this is where the old blooms were. So if you have daylily sticks like this and you want to clean it up, just go all the way down to the base of the plant and then just cut it off. It's as simple as that. Again, you don't have to. I typically do not do this, but because it is a display garden, I want them to look as neat and tidy as I possibly can. And I am in this space, so why not? Let's just go ahead and do it and take care of it, right? All right, so remember, if you have time in your garden, if you're looking for something to do, if you don't have enough things to do in your life and you want to get out in the garden and you want to do some things, these are some ideas for you to do. Do you have to do them? If you don't do them, will your garden like just explode and die and never to be seen again? No, of course not. There is grace in gardening. So if you have problems like I did with your Shasta daisies getting too tall and they're done and maybe they're crowding out somebody else, I hope you have learned and given the confidence that you can go and do this. If you want to clean up your daylilies, you now know how to do that. If your Amsonia got floppy after the rain, you know what you can do. Same thing with your Baptisia, right? So it's my job to give you information. It's your job to apply it to your garden and to your life and to use it accordingly, right? Grace in gardening, my friends. I do want you to tell me, this camera thingy that we got going on right here, do you like it? Do you not like it? Because we're testing things out. You know, when you're in the tube land, you're always trying to do something different, trying to, you know, give you people the better sound, the better quality pictures and video. So let me know what you think of this camera work flying solo today, and yeah, we'll go accordingly once we look back at the footage and based off of what y'all say. As always, we so appreciate you. You have an amazing day. Stay hydrated out there. Drink your water, people. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.